Gerald again. I know I'm not Joe Soro. How you doing? It's the Nightcap with Joe Soro. He is coming soon, supposedly. So what he told me. He said, Gerald, I'm going to be on in a feud. I said, do you want to start at 11:15? Yes, let's do it. 11:15. Can you start it? Okay, I'll start it. It's Gerald Glassford. Thanks again. Truly appreciate it, sir. It's great to have you here. Truly cannot thank you enough for everything that you do. You are the best in the business. It is Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for joining us on the Nightcap with Joe Soro. He is coming on to rant, and I probably will stay with him for a few before finishing up the podcast for my audio listeners out there because I don't want to disrespect them. Again, it is Gerald Glassford. Thanks again. Truly appreciate you joining us. The Lakers once again lose.
You're awesome.
And Daniel, thank you so much. Appreciate you going ahead and dropping in the chat. Truly appreciate it. Joe will be on tonight. Yes, it was promised, and he is coming back for a rant. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he has to say, and I'll give him plenty of floor space to do it. I know he's had a busy day. He was on the phone earlier, but he also was watching his Dodgers lose, his Steelers lose, his fantasy football team lose. Not a good day for Joe Soro, but he'll be on hopefully here in a few. Yes, Xbox, I know I'm not Soro yet. You heard a little bit of my Soro impersonation on the post game, and I'll leave it at that. But it is the Nightcap with Joe Soro. Once again, the Lakers did lose 118 and 114. Big shout out to all the members. As you see below, giving them a big shout out as we always do. If you want a big shout out on our podcast, plus also as well emojis, badges, and of course also as well little inside stuff that I send to you guys first on when we're going to go on a lot of our shows, plus also as well little stuff that I send to you guys in advance before I post it on the Pop Culture Cosmos, or future Lakers stuff as well. You'll get a load of it right there. If you're a member today for just $2.99 a month, please go ahead and like and subscribe. So we've gotten a lot of subscribers in the past couple of days. Joe and I were worried because we had a slowdown in traffic, to be honest with you guys, during the month of September, as far as not only just viewers, but subscribers as well. So we're getting quite concerned. We're wondering, were we ever going to stay over the 1,800 mark? And you guys have been great. Since the preseason has started, we've gotten a number of new subscribers. So truly appreciate you just going ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, ting, ting, to get the latest notifications on when we go live with the Nightcap or a post game or a Lakerholic spotlight or whatever we do or during the week, because I do have more conversations with some great guests coming on the show this week, including Stone Hansen. I've got Legend 350 and more coming up hopefully this week. Everything works out as well right here in the Lakers Fast Break podcast. But without further ado, here he is, a guy who has not had the best of days today. In fact, I was told he even lost in his fantasy league today.
Both leagues. All three of my teams lost, and both. Yeah, I lost the last one by 3 points.
Oh, yeah, I know. He let me know. He was in the post game. He let me know that. Wasn't it Brandon? I think it was Brandon. That was
it's Ralph.
That was, yeah. So it is Joe Soro. Joe, before we get into the mix with the Lakers, especially Bronny, because I do want to hear your thoughts on Bronny before I go ahead and go back to my audio listeners and edit the shows there. Man, ugly situation after the Dodgers game. And I figured, okay, Dodgers games after out in the parking lot, it's always, okay, stick to your guns, quite literally and figuratively there. But this wasn't Dodgers Padres, Joe. It was Dodgers and Dodgers. Nick sent me the footage while we were on playback for our playback audience. That was some brutal stuff, dude. What's going on? What the hell? And the guys, the staffers, they're just standing by there and watching it. They don't want anything to do with it. Oh, it was Ralph D, by the way. Ralph
D, that's my little nephew.
But your thoughts, my friend, before we get into the Lakers.
Look, here's the deal. I'm gonna have a nice little drink because
you need one. You need
well,
one.
Again, I don't need alcohol to to battle, to go
Okay.
nuts.
All right.
I'm already jacked up as it is. It's just my body's wired for the drama. That's why I apparently my blood pressure is pretty good. My blood work's pretty good. Hey, it is what it is. But salute to all of you who have been patient. Gerald, thank you for backing me up like you always do. Johnny, I know you're probably taking care of the kid right now. Thanks for being on the show after the game. I was able to
got kind of scary, Joe, because my headset crapped out at the beginning of the show. It actually crapped out on playback, and I didn't even realize it. And then where they could hear me, but I couldn't hear anyone. And then John's crapped out halfway through the show. So interesting day for
well, you're all gonna like the show tonight. I'll tell you that right now, because the parking lot situation lit up something that even the Lakers couldn't light up. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I actually did like how the Lakers played the first half.
Yes.
And almost all of the third, and then the fourth to some degree, until certain decisions were made on what players should go in. And I'll get to that. It's going to be, I don't know if this is going to be an hour or 2 hours. I'm going to see how the game comes to us. But I will start with the Lakers. Obviously, we are doing a Lakers show that supersedes everything around the Lakers. So LeBron James and Anthony Davis were, I mean, they looked like they hadn't played basketball, and I'm saying this as a compliment. They look like they haven't.
They were already in mid-season form.
They looked as fresh as I've ever seen them look.
Yeah.
They looked phenomenal. And I'm sitting there towards the end of this, fast forwarding and watching as best I could to get over here. I'm sitting there and I'm watching this. I'm like, and then you see the guys in the end. I'm going, man, how good is LeBron James and Anthony Davis at basketball? I just kept thinking about that the last 6 minutes of the game. I'm watching these guys play. They were playing their butts off, but they just you can't do it. And then I think back at LeBron and AD and how just easy it is. Like, and I'm trying to figure out, like, what is it? Like, is it the fast twitch? Is it like how they handle the ball? Like, do you ever really sit and think, like, what is it? What is it about LeBron James and the Anthony Davises and the Jason Tatums? Like, what makes those guys just make it look like it's easy? It's just I don't know. Yeah. I guess maybe I was trying to look for something to balance out what honestly was probably the worst sports day and night of my sports watching life. I don't remember a Sunday where all three of my teams played at the same time, all got waxed pretty much, and then, or I shouldn't say they got waxed, but they either got waxed or they got their hearts kind of taken out of them, or I know it's an exhibition game, but they kind of laid an egg. And then, of course, one of my leagues was just, I keep playing almost the best players that week, it seems like. But my interpretation of the game was I liked their energy. I loved how enthusiastic they were, and the entire time I'm thinking, obviously, if these guys can roll like this, it's going to be a very positive outcome. But can LeBron James and AD really run like deer for 82 games? Because that's what that looked like. That looked like fire behind them and fuel, and they just kept fueling it. So what else can they do? What else can they do to somehow get somebody in here that can supplant him a little bit? Austin Reeves it looks like he's moving faster. The problem is I don't think his shot has met up with his speed. Can Austin Reeves keep up that kind of speed? Does he have the athleticism to do it? Same with D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell's going to have to make those shots and play defense. I noticed Pheonix was just, well, both of them were just shooting threes the whole time. And looking at the box score now that I've had a chance to kind of sit down and talk and look at everything, looking at the stats, the Lakers shot 40 3-point shots. And Pheonix shot 39. They made 5 more 3-point shots. So this game essentially became the guy that made a little bit more free, just a few more threes, and they won.
Lakers were 27.5% from 3, and then like you said, the Suns made 5 more threes. I mean, like you said, it was a tale of two halves, Joe. First half, Lakers offensively looked very good, very smooth. LeBron AD already in mid-season form. I think that Olympics run helped keep them in tip-top shape, and they looked really already like they're ready to play. And, just sit them out for the rest of the games. Just, they're already done. They're already ready to play. They're already ready for the season. But once we got into the second half and we got in more in the reserves, and the reserves got more playing time, Joe, especially one Bronny James, I think that's where we see the questions, where we see the problems, and where we see where there could be a lot of things going forward, especially if AD or LeBron don't play or are not healthy.
The thing with the non-NBA players on the roster is when the regular season starts, that's going to present itself on its own. There's no reason to continue to hammer the nail that's already in the wood. It's already in. And trying to get it out a lot of times is a pain in the ass. But if you can't get the nail out, then you got to just pull the whole 2x4 out and just redo it. And that's what we're going to see it with a lot of the talent on this team on the back end. I'm trying to look at this exactly on how I saw it. And my brain was kind of beat up at the time when I started watching. Plus, when you're fast forwarding through the game a lot, you don't get a chance to feel the tempo as much. Plus, I was on the phone towards the end, and I was just, my attention span was. This is the time, I guess, when ADHD it helps, because I've got 3 things going on at the same time. But I wanted to really make everyone understand that I paid attention to the first quarter and the second quarter, and I was very encouraged by the play of Anthony Davis and LeBron James in the sense of they looked like they were fresh. They looked like they're in their 8th year in the league. Looking at it probably as it sinks in, I'm going to probably be a little bit more depressed because I'm all, why are we're going to waste this, because the structure of this team is so not good. We're not going to be able to use this talent and harness it and have it ready for when it really matters, because these guys are going to have to play 35 and 40 minutes again. And we're going to have to say a couple of Hail Marys on them not getting hurt. And that part is starting to settle in as I'm talking to you now, because I know that that's going to be the issue in the end, because it's been the issue. And you look at guys like Max Christie, he has his little moments, but this team has no time for little moments anymore. This is his 3rd year in the league. His 3rd year. He has to come out, and he can't keep making these rookie mistakes that he was making tonight. He made a couple shots towards the end, but that was before he went 0 for 5. If you hit those shots a little bit earlier, maybe you're not, hanging on in the end to try to win the game. That last second shot with Connect was a terrible play call. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that you decided to put a high school player in at the worst time, both times that they put him in. Not the first time with his dad and to have the whole pageantry of that. I'm talking about the second time they put him in, and then the last time. I don't know why they brought him in at the end.
He looked terrible in that second half.
It's not a matter of him looking terrible. Looking terrible is already like in the books. He doesn't belong in the NBA. He never did. He barely belonged in college. And this is the stuff that you sit there and you see his face. You see his dad's face. You see everybody's face, and you're all in your feels. And I come out looking like an a-hole because I'm so brutal with this. And then when I'm by myself and I'm thinking about it, I'm going, geez, maybe Joe, you might need to. And this happens in all things, not just this situation. Maybe I took it too far. But then after about 5 or 10 minutes, I start to think about it again. And I go, no, I am 46 years old. I know what I'm looking at in anything I'm doing. And even if I make a mistake, which I do, it's not going to be this catastrophic blow up type thing. It's going to be, oh, shoot, I didn't have that information. Now I got to go back and put my tail between my legs and apologize. But it's a preseason game. It doesn't matter. I know that. But, you go through all that first and second half, the first half execution, and there's a lot of good things coming from there. Third quarter wasn't too bad either. You maintained a pretty good lead considering it felt like Phoenix just kept hitting threes left and right. Yet you then like sabotage yourself because you want to have this moment again. It's just
taking a drink.
We live in a world of more and more fantasy as technology keeps going. This whole AI thing and this whole just stuff on the internet. We've created this fake life that is becoming perception is reality. Which that whole quote, that whole saying, has always been such a just pile of garbage. Perception is reality. What the hell does that even mean? If it's not reality, it's not reality. Well, if people think it is, who gives a shit what people think if it's not true? Well, so-and-so said, we went back on this with all this social stuff going on and all these idiots that are getting caught doing stuff. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give these guys any. Why does that keep happening?
I don't know. I think it was because you had, just before you went off, your internet went crazy.
Really?
Yeah, your internet signal went crazy.
I don't ever see the going crazy of the internet.
I can see it because you've got the 5 bars, okay, and I can see when it goes when you lose a signal. So
really,
yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can.
You're good now. You're solid now.
Okay, so where was I?
You were ranting about Bronny.
I wasn't ranting about Bronny. I was.
You actually, yeah, you're getting.
Look,
slow burn.
It's. I want. Is it too much to ask to want excellence, even if it means just handling business instead of trying to make things up that shouldn't be made up? I don't understand that language. I don't understand that language. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's because of my age. That's horseshit. Has nothing to do with my age. Okay. I'm just as proficient with technology as any little snot-nosed 25-year-old. Okay. There are plenty of people out there that don't know 1/10 of what I know about business and how to handle business. So how does that make me deficient in today's social aspect? Why? Because I don't speak the lingo? I don't know what that means either. What? Do I have to use the words like Riz to be cool? Motherfuckers, you don't know what cool is, okay? I was born cool. You wouldn't know what it is. You don't know what real cool is. So looking at this situation with where this team is going to go, it will absolutely have to have an infusion of talent on this team. And I'm talking immediately. question now is it going to happen? Because you have Anthony Davis and LeBron James looking like they are ready to go. They are ready to go, and they're probably going to give us our money's worth. D'Angelo's going to probably continue to do what he does, which you can't really – his talent is pretty much based off what his salary is. Austin Reeves, the same thing. Rui's the same thing. Who else is next? Jackson Hayes, God bless him, man. He's trying, man. That's why I can't – look, there's a difference, man. There's a difference. The guy is busting his ass trying to do the best he can. If you're doing that, that's fine. At the same time, there's a deficiency there that just you can't hide. You just can't hide. Is Gabe Vincent going to be able to cover D'Angelo's butt off the bench? Is that something we got to monitor to see what's up? I'd say sure, if he stays healthy. But as far as the rookie, I think he'll be fine, but he's a rookie. The other thing is the ones that are the tweeners in terms of talent. I'm not seeing it, folks. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't see it. And this team needs to be ready. Rob Pelinka better freaking figure something out here. As fair or not fair as it is, that's the only way this team's going to have any shot at doing anything this year. They got to have at least 2 players that can come in, at least 2, without giving up any starters. So that's the question I have for you, Gerald, and everyone else out there. Do you think that there's any chance of Rob enhancing this roster without using the player capital that are starting?
No.
Okay. So,
I mean, because hold on, because Kirk is, whether you like it or don't like it, Joe, Kirk is in the, and he keeps on repeating it, but I will give it credence. He said, give up Rui, Vando, and 2 firsts for Robert Williams, Time Lord, and Jeremy Grant. Remember Robert Williams coming off those catastrophic knee injury. So we don't know where he's at. He looks okay so far from what I've seen in training camp, but again, that's what we're going off of. And Jeremy Grant, it's no longer one of the worst contracts in the league, but still above 30 some odd million a year for a guy that's probably going to be at best your 4th, maybe 3rd best player. He's not that player anymore, Joe. I don't know. With Jeremy Grant, I don't know. It might help your team, but 2 draft picks, 2 first rounders for 2 guys who might make the team incrementally better. To me, it's not worth it. To me,
okay,
it's just
let's go with this. Let me dissect Kurtz.
But to answer your question, no. In order to improve the team, they'll have to give up one of those top 5.
Okay,
or 2.
Let's go with Kurtz.
I'll put it up here on the screen. He misspelled it.
Kurt says you give up Rui, Vando.
Yes.
2 firsts for
Robert Williams,
and Jeremy Grant.
Yeah, Robert Williams. And
my question to you is, why in the hell are you giving up 2 first-round picks when Portland's trying to drop Grant's contract? Probably the 3rd worst contract in the league. So
that's the question.
Let me do this. Let me counter that. You want the Lakers to give up the future already, which is at this point, if you make that trade, you are essentially saying if you don't win a championship this year, you are effed for the future. I mean, royally effed. So my counter to that is if Portland says we want Vando, Rui, and your first 2 picks in 29 and 31, I'm assuming, correct?
Yeah, Kirk's saying the first should be mid. You don't know. It's 29 and 31. LeBron will be off the team by that time, and so will AD. What will this team look like in 2029?
So that means you have to ask yourself a question now. Is giving up any chance of a rebuild in that time when you're probably going to be stinking, is it worth a title this year? Should you win one?
Well, if you say give up 2 picks, Kirk, the only 2 picks you can combine together are the 2029 and 2031. You cannot give up any combination of any other 2 first-round draft picks. You can give up a single draft pick, I believe, in what, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. You could give up one of those picks if you're just trading one. But if you want to trade 2, the only time you can do it per the Ted Stepien rule, Joe, is 2029 and 2031.
I have a counter.
Okay.
If you want us to mortgage our future, then you got to give me at least one young player. And that instead of Mr. Williams, you got to give me Simons. And then we'll give you 2 first-round picks. Now you have 2 players that are young and are thoroughbreds. And you need them in both spots. You need those guys where they play too, with a LeBron AD structure.
Yeah, I know his defense is terrible, JSJ, but offensively, you know, he is someone that is people will guard on that end of the floor.
It's you got to give me talent back. I can't go with Robert Williams. This team already has issues with injuries. I can't risk the future for a Robert Williams, and definitely not Jeremy Grant. Sorry. If you want that trade, you're going to have to give us 2 first-round picks. And that is something that I think you all need to really understand. If you're going to take on a bad contract and have a talented player, Jeremy Grant is a talented player, and he still could be very usable. Same with someone like
Robert Williams.
Robert Williams, if he's healthy. But that it's just too much of a risk, because as soon as that guy gets hurt, that trade becomes an absolute disaster. So then let's go back to what we've been discussing. It's always been Portland and Chicago at this thing, because there's a balance of trying to figure out how are you going to get something out of these contracts, because it's time for the Lakers to start getting some capital back. I still say to this day that the best deal is in Chicago to get back some assets. Yeah, you take on a bad contract, but Zach LaVine, if we get lucky and he's healthy, now you get the talent and the draft capital. That is the deal that needs to go. And I would even be willing to take on, well, I don't think they need to do that really, because why would they take on Lonzo's contract? They don't need to do that. This is his last year anyways. But
M-Easy says Ayton or Williams.
Who?
DeAndre Ayton or Williams. Because let's put it this way, Joe. Portland is going to be making a move from one of those 3 guys because they want to get Donovan Clingan more playing time. And the only way they're going to have to do it is to remove that logjam in Portland somehow. Not saying to the Lakers. I'm just saying, period. They're going to, they're going to have to go ahead and move Williams, Ayton, or both.
The Lakers are so desperate for a big. I mean, I'm not a big Ayton fan, but geez, that would plug in a big hole. And you only have to pay it for a couple of years, at least, right? Does he make a difference? Absolutely. But I just don't think I think there's somebody else out there that'll give him a better deal. I don't think the Lakers would be able to get Ayton. That's why I've not mentioned him. But as much as I don't like Ayton, he kind of reminds me of a poor man's Ben Simmons in terms of his quitting. But man, that would upgrade the center position, and man, would that make AD's job easy. So this is the part where you can't let ego and your feelings get in the way. This is something that would help. Yes,
it is. By the way, 2 seasons left, about $35 million a year on both.
You guys are right. You're all right with the whole Ayton thing, but I want you guys to consider the alternatives. Are you ready? Would you rather have DeAndre Ayton or no one? You tell me. Give me a better answer. I don't want him either, but if it's nothing or DeAndre Ayton, and DeAndre Ayton is a borderline all-star. He's not an all-star, but he's borderline. Matter of fact, didn't he play in one?
No.
No? Okay, I thought he did. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys.
If his head is right, he can get you a double.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if his head's right. Whether you know it or not, I should say. Of course, if his head's not right, we're screwed. But
yeah.
I don't, there's no choice. You can't. Beggars can't be choosers. If there's a way you get him, you have just solved your center position issue. And AD isn't killing himself for 38 to 40 minutes a game. Now AD could probably play 33, 34 minutes. Ayton can score down low. Ayton is a good basketball player, and he's young. We're not talking about whether we're getting them or not. We're not getting them. I already know that. I'm talking if we had the choice.
And just to let you know, Brian Grant, if you did trade for him, let's say today, Joe, you'd have him on the books for $90 million plus for 3 seasons.
Jeremy Grant, you mean, right?
Jeremy Grant's, yeah, Jeremy Grant.
We had Brian Grant one time.
Yeah, I know. Jeremy Grant. Sorry. Got my Grants, and then you got to get your Bridges right. You got to get your Williams right. You still got your Balls playing.
Balls, yeah. Make sure you get your balls right, guys.
Yes, you got to get your balls right.
Can't sit down right.
Although LaMelo did look good today for Charlotte. Just saying.
We'll see if he can play the year.
Get a package for offer a package for him and Nick Richards.
Back again with the DeAndre Ayton situation. At this point, beggars can't be choosers. If you get a deal that knocks if you get a deal for someone who can play, go get him. You go get him. I don't think he'd quit, Alan. I don't think he'd quit in LA.
Alan doesn't like Alan doesn't like Ball in
I don't like Ball either. I don't like Ball either, but
he's young and he's talented.
The Lakers have to do something, folks. It's already lost if you don't do anything. You see what I'm saying, guys? If the Lakers stay with this particular roster right now, focus on what I'm saying. If the Lakers stay with this roster right now the whole year, injuries or not, they have to play perfect basketball to have any chance. And no one really plays perfect basketball anymore. All they do now is, just like in baseball, all they do is swing for the fences. If you guys don't believe me, my good friend Will Clark had a hilarious TikTok a couple days ago. And I sent it to Gerald. This is Will Clark, even though he was a San Francisco Giant and I'm a Dodger fan, he's protected even by Dodger fans because Will Clark, and this is back when I was a kid. I didn't know what a man meant at the time. Really, it was a boy. Even then, we liked Will Clark because he just had this charisma about him that, of course, when I grew up and I happened to be very fortunate in meeting him, and a lot of times you meet famous people, famous athletes, whatever, and they're kind of Will Clark is not that guy, man. Will Clark is the truth. He is the truth, and then some. Exactly what we remember him growing up. He's better in real life, actually. He's better. He's like what's the comparison I had? Eva Mendes. Eva Mendes, for those of you, I'm sure a lot of people know who Eva Mendes is. Eva Mendes is a very beautiful woman, movie star, 20-year career, all that. I saw her in real life, and I want you to imagine this. As gorgeous as she looks on TV, she looks better in real life. I mean, that's not even fair. So Will Clark, that's the guy. And Will Clark is on, does a show called No Filter. And he basically said to all the people who just swing for the fences and don't play ball the right way, he just says, you gotta give him a double one. And, I thought I was the only one doing that stuff. So it was kind of nice seeing Will Clark, who's this professional guy, professional athlete, famous guy that's doing it too. So I don't feel too bad now. But going back to the Laker thing, guys, I don't think any of these deals are going to happen anyways. I think the Lakers are probably going to go after someone that can fill at least one gap, whether it's on the perimeter or obviously at center. And they're going to have to give up one of those first-round picks.
Ooh, Draymond Green. You really want to piss off Joe?
No, Ralph? No, guys. No. Draymond can't play anymore. Focus on what I'm saying. Focus. Draymond has been done since Draymond Green was done in 2022. They won that title despite him. That doesn't help anybody. No. They need someone young, someone that can roll, literally too.
That's the thing, Joe. With only 2 draft picks that you can combine, plus whatever assets the Lakers have as far as players are concerned, they don't have many options. They are not going to get or make. For instance, let's say the Boston trade where they traded and they got Derek White, and then they got another trade. They got Drew Holiday. Those kind of trades are just not going to happen with what the Lakers have as far as assets. So you've got to take a chance on a Grant, a Williams, an Ayton, a Ball, or whoever, a Levine, or whoever, guy who has that kind of baggage. That's the player that's the only type of player, Joe, that we could trade for with any name value at this point, because we just don't have the assets to do anything better.
Ralph, have you been watching Draymond Green play the last 3 seasons? Do what dirty work? Punching people in practice? No. Draymond Green is washed. He's done.
And Thomas Bryant, I know he left the Lakers on bad terms when he got traded
Thomas
to
Bryant
Denver.
is not good. No. We already have enough Thomas Bryants on this team.
Is he still on Miami?
I don't know where he is.
Yeah.
And why would Charlotte make that deal anyways for LaMelo? They have no one there. Why would they trade him? For who?
So funny. It's so funny, Joe. I just Googled Thomas Bryant, and one of the first stories to pop up is why former Nugget Thomas Bryant got kicked out of his own championship ring celebration.
Why did he?
Oh, I don't know. There's a whole article on it. I'll put it up in the chat as far as if you guys want to check it out. But that's funny. That's hilarious. But yeah, Thomas Bryant, I think he's still on Miami. But even if that's the case, I don't think he has a great, a great idea on how much he enjoys not playing for the Lakers at this point in time, because he didn't enjoy his time, especially near the end, his second tour of duty with the Lakers.
They need a legitimate third player. They need a third player that will be immediately the third best player on the team with LeBron and AD, someone that actually plays 35 to 40 minutes and is effective in the position he's in.
Well, that's why I just said Ball and Richards.
Why? I'm curious why you brought up LaMelo Ball. Why would Charlotte trade him?
If he gets pissy there, if he doesn't, because the team at this point, again, today they looked okay against the Knicks. But if the team decides they want to go ahead and favor Brandon Miller as the number 1 player there instead of LaMelo Ball, he's going to get butthurt about it. And if he's healthy, he's going to let you know about that. He does have the talent, Joe. He can't shoot 40% from beyond the arc. His defense is terrible. I'll never argue you guys with that. But he can make plays. He can handle the ball. He is very good passer. And he's still young, Joe. He's under 25. So he's still someone that can develop. But you're right. Would Charlotte ever do it for 2 firsts or whatever you would want to offer? I don't think they would. But the fact is, you would also, if you ask for Nick Richards as a backup center, he would be someone I think that the Lakers fans would say, hey, at least this kid can play ball. But again,
so he would be upset that Brandon Miller is taking the top spot, but to make him happy, trade him to LA, would it be the third guy? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Oh, again, it's just
I would do that trade. I would do that trade, Abraham.
That's
really.
Probably the best.
Really.
That's probably again, Joe. You're not going to get any kind of really good trade that everybody's going to go say, man, that's a killer trade. That's a winner trade with what the Lakers have, because they just do not have the assets to get anyone. Even those two picks, as attractive as they are, because people think the Lakers are going to suck in 29 and 31 without LeBron and AD by that time. It's still going to be hard for the Lakers to get anybody of any good value, because the fact that the Bridges trade, took 6 picks, the Towns trade, you had to give away Randall and DiVincenzo and a first-round draft pick on top of it. So we'll have to wait and see, Joe. I just don't think the Lakers have enough assets to get the players that people want.
Look,
And they're
the
going to be
obvious
stuck with
is,
these guys
yeah,
that
the
have a lot of
asset thing
baggage.
is we've discussed this to the point where I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's a waste of time. The only reason to talk about it is maybe there's some new people listening for the first time. But
yeah, Kirk's a new face, and then
Kirk,
Ralph.
look, here's the deal, guys. And I'm sorry if we keep repeating ourselves here. I know that again it helps with the newer people. I want you guys to understand a couple things. Number one, there is a fraternity in the NBA. It's not as bad or as closed off as it is in Major League Baseball. And you all saw that for 4 years with Pete Rose. He gambled, and they shut him down for life. He never got a chance to come back, really, other than a couple of celebratory situations. And he died never seeing his ultimate goal, which is to make the Hall of Fame. The NBA isn't to that degree, but the NBA fraternity has relationships, and our current, or I should say the Lakers' current management head is not very well liked in his own circles. And I'm sure that a lot of the owners who still probably have the old kind of mentality of Genie being an owner. Now, I'm not going to go that far in terms of not liking that. I don't really think about that kind of stuff. But when you look at performance, it certainly adds a bit of credibility to their angst, especially considering we live in a world where anybody that inherits anything and is rich already is always going to be looked down upon, right? The deals are not going to happen mainly, not because the Lakers couldn't put something together, but Rob Pelinka is not liked, and I don't believe Jeannie Buss is respected. And then LeBron James and this whole fiasco with his son, that probably just keeps adding more fuel to that, especially when you look at somebody who was picked in those areas in the second round, having to scrap for a salary and trying to make a team, yet you have this high school kid who's barely good in high school, by the way, earning a contract like he just signed an extension with the new club. These all matter. And it's not one of those things where, you care about what others think. No, it has nothing to do with that. I don't give a damn what anyone thinks. But what you do is you put yourself in a position where you're not going to be, no one's going to want to work with you. They're going to have a lot of respect for you. They're going to want to fleece you. You think all the stuff that happened during Jerry West's time or even Mitch Kupchak's time, people were dogging Mitch Kupchak because he didn't break the rules. He didn't. What do they call it? I don't think that needs quotes either. They were tampering.
Your podcast.
So much so that Pritchard out in Indiana started, he made a fuss about it, didn't he?
Yes.
Right? You never heard the tampering. Now, they did come after Jerry West. And the reason why I say they is no one ever really came out and said it was them. It was just kind of underlying because they were so angry that West got Shaq. It was probably Orlando. That they had to put out something where they're like, oh, this guy was tampering. And, and Jerry West was visibly upset.
Jeremy, we see, are you drinking a scotch, by the way? Just wanted to make sure that Jeremy's
drinking rum, guys.
He's drinking rums, Jeremy. Sorry about that. My apologies. Yeah, you are getting some response. My apologies, Jeremy, on that. Yes, he is drinking rum.
Kirk, I want you to pay attention to me real quick because you're writing some things that aren't necessarily wrong. But I am noticing that there's a little bit of kind of drawback from that stuff now because it started to get out of hand. But what brought it back what's gone in the negative again is, and John Costa, God bless him, I love him. He had a comparison of something and it was wrong. I kind of said it to him in the last show. Nepotism in a working environment is different than performance-based nepotism. There's a difference. There's people who are performing, i.e. an actor, an athlete, a comedian, someone who in the circus, okay? If you can't perform, you don't belong there. Anyone can be an assistant secretary, assistant general manager, an assistant teacher, an assistant whatever. Those are not performance-based in the sense of, like, you got to have a talent. You have to have a talent to perform. Whereas those jobs they're just standard, you got to go and write something, and you got to pay attention to the accounting, and you got to make sure that certain people are getting their materials, whatever, making sure shipments are coming in. Anyone can do that. There are thousands and millions of people that can do that. There's only 450 basketball players on a roster every year in the entire planet. How many secretaries are there, Gerald?
How many secretaries?
How many secretaries do you think are in the country? That's just based on the country.
Oh my God.
You don't even know, right? How many teachers are there? And I'm not trying to downgrade teachers because that's not what I'm doing here. But anybody can be a teacher. Anyone can join the military. Anyone can join the law enforcement. Anyone can do that. Yeah, you're right, Jay. I'm tired of ranting. I'm drained today.
Well, hold on, Kirk.
I'm trying to make a point here. Can
you look at that last one by Kirk? I think that's incorrect because Bronny, he said the color of his skin also makes him untouchable for criticism. He hasn't heard this show at all. Tell you what, Kirk, to catch you up real quick, and we'll stand by. Go look at a couple of the actual shorts and listen to Joe. One of those shorts on Bronny got us banned on TikTok. So we're not afraid to criticize Bronny. If you heard me earlier this evening, we talked about how bad Bronny was. Racial issues aside, in this country, whatever you feel, that it is what it is. Bronny is not going to be deflected off of because he's LeBron James's son or what ethnicity he is. If he's bad, we're going to call it out, right, Joe? And he was terrible today. 4 turnovers, 3 fouls, 2 rebounds, 0 points in 13 minutes. That is not going to get it done. He's a kid that does not look like he's ready to play NBA ball. We've said it before. We've been saying it for weeks. We've been saying it since he was drafted. So if you're looking for criticism on Bronny, unfortunately, you're going to get it here, whether you like it or not.
So the reverse of the social issues. We could sit here and talk about that for hours. In the end, I don't care. I don't care what you look like. I don't care.
I agree, Brian. I agree. Yeah, we don't need to bring it here. I
don't really care about what you look like. This was, and it will always be. And the thing is, I don't like being lied to my face. I don't like being lied to my face, and you're trying to tell me it's something else, especially when it's this obvious. It's pathetic. It's trash. It's garbage, and it will always be that. And I don't give a shit how you look at it. You want to call it something you want to believe it is. It's not. If you want to go off of appearance, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. And I gave you enough examples in the last show. I used the Marvin Harrison Jr. example. If Marvin Harrison, for those of you who don't know what the hell I'm talking about, of course it didn't help because John doesn't pay. A lot of people don't pay attention to things like I do in terms of sports. Marvin Harrison, any sports guy usually would probably know who the hell that is. He's a Hall of Fame receiver. His son got drafted this year, Marvin Harrison Jr. Okay? Marvin Harrison Jr. is a freak. He's going to be, if he stays healthy, he will probably join his pops in the Hall of Fame one day. If Bronny James was of that ilk, we would be here going, holy crap, we got another LeBron James. But here's the funny thing about that discussion. He wouldn't be going to the Lakers. He would have been a top pick, right?
Yeah.
So it's a waste of there was so many ways you could have done this and helped the team, and they didn't because they wanted to manipulate the situation at the detriment of the Lakers trying to enhance the talent and performance of the team. And they allowed it. How am I supposed to sit here and why am I hearing noise in the background?
Oh, that's just me. I'm trying to, my apologies, editing for audio. I'm trying to upload.
Why? I mean, think about this, guys. I want you to think about this. Bronny could have signed as a free agent. No one was going to draft his ass. I don't give a shit what Phoenix says or Golden. They're all lying assholes. Okay? No one was drafting Bronny. You could have helped your team. You could have got your son on the team and get him his little 2-year contract. And then you would have not had to spend your money, by the way, too, or take less, whatever the hell that means. And you could have actually gotten another player that maybe would have been able to help. Maybe at the very least, right? Am I wrong? Okay, there's not a chance it's going to happen. Okay, well then why do they have a draft pick? Why do they have 60 draft picks then? The point is you don't know now. You'll never know because you're too busy manipulating this trash. And the fact that we watched them today cost the Lakers the game. It's an exhibition game. They're all smiling, grab-assing, ass-slapping, all that, right? Everything's fine. No, it's not. It sets a tone. It sets an attitude. And the attitude sucks. And LeBron James is the same guy for how many years talking about social issues in this country and about privilege. How is this not exactly what he's been against? Oh, Joe, he wasn't against that. He was against other stuff. I'm like, no, it's all the same. It's all the same. You start going to semantics at that point. And everybody has a sob story growing up. But the second now, see, he doesn't have the sob story now. So now what's the narrative? And I always told that to my friends. I said, be careful, because if you're successful, they're going to start saying that about your kids. Your kids have no choice in that matter. What happens if kids are born in privilege or with a family that has money? They're going to get looked down on because of jealousy, right? Be careful when you talk like that, because soon you might be in it, and then you're going to get defensive when that happens to you. So the game was encouraging in that I loved how the starters played to a degree. I thought the only thing I didn't like is Austin Reeves clanking every shot. He was getting spacing. He looked like he was moving well, but if he's going to be shooting that much, he better start making those.
Max Connect had off nights as well shooting. That was kind of disappointing to see. They couldn't follow up on their promising Friday. But again, those two are rookie and a young player in Max and a rookie in Connect. So you're probably going to get highs and lows. But yeah,
Austin Reeves went 0 for 7 tonight.
Yeah.
That is unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Especially when this is your starting scoring guard. If he's going 0 for 7 or even 2 for 7, you're in trouble. Big trouble. They should have ran more offense for D'Angelo. I think D'Angelo had a better chance of being his release is quick and he's usually more accurate. Should have drawn those up more. But I did like them. I loved the ball movement. I loved the dives to the basket. I thought that was amazing. And LeBron, if there's anything that guy can do, it's play basketball. The guy went 8 for 12 on the field and scored 19 points in 16 minutes. I mean, the guy is I think it's an understatement to call him a basketball savant. I'm not going to call him a genius in terms of this, but in terms of playing basketball, that guy knows how to play basketball. My God. So that's where I'm at on that. How this changes in the future here, in terms of how the games will play out the rest of the way. The things that I want, I would strongly, really, really strongly advising that they stop putting Bronny in the games and let this team start getting their feet wet a little bit more so they can prepare for the regular season.
It's
You got to have
embarrassing,
JHS
Joe.
in there. You got to have Connect in there. You got to have Max. Let those guys get a run. Stop putting in Maxwell Lewis. Stop putting in Bronny. Let these guys that last before they put Bronny in, that group needed to get a run in. Jackson Hayes in there, basically the bench guys. They gotta get more run, and it doesn't help when you're playing 4-on-5. Doesn't help. That team can start rolling a little bit, and then if you have just one good starter in there, it could make a difference. There'll be a little bit more spacing for Max. There'll be maybe a little bit more room for JHS. JHS seems to be in love with that mid-range shot, which is what he was scouted on out of college. He's good at hitting the mid-range. Is that going to be a benefit down the road? The only way JHS helps his team at that mid-range is if he never misses.
Abraham, Bronny is not going to be in the rotation. Maybe he'll get some more burn in the preseason, but there's no way in the regular season, after that hallmark moment that Joe is not and I are not too keen that's going to happen in that first game. They got to have a long-term plan for Bronny, and it's got to be in the G League this year. They cannot have him on the main roster sitting down watching his dad, because you put him in that game in NBA regular season games, Joe, on a regular basis, and this team is effed. It's just that simple.
Well, it's interesting that someone named Abraham, who was known as sorry, close your ears, Gerald, I'm going to say something from the Bible.
Go ahead.
The depths of faith. That's Abraham has faith that Bronny will be starting or playing, and that's just not going to happen.
Well, he said he based it off of his dad.
Guys, folks, forget about the preseason right now. If Bronny James plays 1 minute in the NBA, you won't spend more than 1 minute figuring out exactly what's happening. I would be in shock. He's gonna actually. I'm sorry. He will play a minute because they're gonna make sure he plays that minute with his dad, right? At least a little bit. But
yeah, you got to get that hallmark
play any more after that. This team is either up by 40 or, and again, I don't think he has any business being on the bench either. Down by 42. Yeah. Yeah, Junior does not belong he doesn't even belong in the G League, honestly. I would be shocked if he even played well there. So anyways, I'm done talking about that guy. I really am. I'd rather not talk about him.
Well, you can use Maxwell Lewis as your barometer, my friend, because Darren asked me to look up his G League stats because I forgot what they were off the top of my head. I know I've looked them up before. He was a 13-point game player for South Bay last year in the G League. That was Maxwell Lewis. So Maxwell Lewis, who might probably be on his way out because he didn't even get any burn tonight in the preseason, to show you how far down on the roster that Maxwell Lewis is as a second-year, second-round draft choice. Just think what Bronny is. If Bronny doesn't reach even a double-digit level in the G League this year as a double-digit scorer in the G League, that tells you he has a long way to go, Joe. A long, long way to go.
Maxwell Lewis, if he's smart, I think he tries to go to Europe immediately or China. I don't even know if he'll work out there. Or if you didn't finish school, I'd go get your degree and go get a job. Bronny James is got a nice, fresh 3-year guarantee, 4-year option. I mean, you might as well just say 4, right? They're going to give him the 4th year, right?
Yep.
Okay, so
no matter how bad it is, I bet you they pick up the 4th.
He'll be. Let's say he'll be in his 4th year, and you'll never see Bronny in the NBA again after the fourth year, unless another general manager comes in and really makes a fit. But I don't know. I don't know how that's going to play.
Well, again, it's like I told you, Joe. 9 out of the last 10 55 picks only one has gotten a second contract.
Right.
So the odds are against him, even if
Yeah,
his name is Bronny James.
It's time to start really getting an understanding of what this rotation is going to be based off the current talent that they have right now. So I'm going to stick with kind of focusing on what's next. What's the next game? How are they going to take what they did today and make it better? Because I saw a lot of really, really good things. I saw a lot of good things in the first half. They play Milwaukee in Milwaukee. Is that correct? Next,
they play Milwaukee. Let me see where it's playing at. So let me go check to see where the game's at from. But yes, they do play Milwaukee. They are on the road. As far as it's concerned, let me go ahead and check to see when that is going to be.
I know the Golden State game is in a neutral site. I just don't know where.
Yeah,
because I think they're playing in Milwaukee.
But there's the Las Vegas game. You got to remember that they still have the Las Vegas game.
So the Las Vegas game is probably the Golden State game, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Phoenix in Golden State, and then that's it for the preseason.
Yep.
Yeah. So do they lose all these games? Seems like they usually always win one, maybe, or lose all.
Yeah. It's at the Forum in Milwaukee. Tickets low is $8. There you go. $8 for a game.
So my advice to JJ Redick, he'd probably go tell me to go F myself. Stop playing those who are not going to be playing this year. Focus on the ones that are going to play and be possibly rotational players. Let them get their run. Stop sabotaging their gameplay. And Mr. Max Christie, you were dog shit today. You need to figure out what the hell you're going to do. Are you going to be a standalone three-point shooter, or are you going to try to get to the basket? Can't do both. You're not talented enough. My advice is I would be in the gym shooting threes for the next 2 weeks. I wouldn't even sleep. Just keep shooting. Shoot. If he wants to stay in the NBA, he's got to make that shot. Stop trying to create. Stop trying to get to the basket. You suck at doing that. You're never going to be good at it. At least
I believe, I'll just answer a question that Bronny James, his 4-year contract is the league minimum for each of the 4 years. That's what happened. So, according to our chat, they were asking about why is he being paid so much? It's like, that's the lowest they can pay him, I think, on a guaranteed contract.
I don't give a shit about Bronny James and his contract.
It seems to be always
a focus on the guys that are going to be playing. Let's focus on the guys that are going to play. I don't give a shit about Bronny James. He is not going to, other than the one and only game or whatever the fuck that he plays with his dad so that everybody can jerk off on it. We're talking about what the fuck this team is going to do when time is ready. I'm not interested in this. I am not interested in it. I don't give a shit what the demographics say. This isn't CNN. This isn't ESPN. I don't give a shit about what these guys want in terms of metrics. Stop pumping shit that doesn't matter. That's the thing that pisses me off about all this. I hate this shit. Why are we pumping up a no-talent fucking player? Because of his daddy. When those same assholes complain their whole lives about that shit when somebody else does it. Am I wrong? We have to understand that this is what's going to happen. The Max Christies, the JHSs, the Dalton Connects, these guys have to play. You can't play 5 guys the whole year. We're stuck. Let's focus on that. Is Max Christie going to make up his mind? Is he going to be a shooter, or is he just going to go to the basket? My advice to you, Max, is to shoot. Stop spending your energy going to the basket. You don't belong in that area. You're going to get your ass kicked all year. Focus on your defense. Apparently, he's a really good defender. I don't know what the fuck people are watching, but I didn't see it. what? You get a steal every now and then? I mean, come on, people. You're setting the bar low here.
3 fouls in 13 minutes,
Okay,
Joe.
I'm not going to have, this discussion is going to be said, and it's going to be said, and it's going to be said, and I'm going to get off air, and I'm going to start asking myself, what am I doing, repeating over and over again? Aren't these people tired who are watching the show of me saying over and over again what the hell this is? Seriously, focus on the game. Let's focus on today. But the weird thing is the same shit keeps happening, so it sounds like it's a repeat. We don't know shit about basketball because we didn't play it, right? I didn't play in the NBA. That means I don't know anything, right? Bullshit. I know basketball. Jeff Van Gundy never played in the NBA. He's a pretty damn good coach. Stan Van Gundy didn't play in the NBA. Greg Popovich didn't play in the NBA. Pretty darn good coaches. Larry Brown, pretty darn good coach. Didn't play in the NBA. Folks, I get it. I get it. Believe me, I get it. When the couch potato is yapping about shit that they can't do, I totally get it. Totally get it. But I'm not coming from that side of things. I'm not sitting there criticizing someone for not doing something that I know they're not capable of doing. What I'm criticizing is the decisions being made that shouldn't be made. And that doesn't take someone needing to play in the NBA or being in the NBA. Where you need to pay attention is when you're watching someone, let's say like LeBron James, and you've got plenty of people out there every other game where LeBron might not do something that he's used to doing. Oh, see, he's not the greatest. That's the couch potato dipshit you're talking about. That's the convenient comment. LeBron could have retired 8 years ago, and he would still be in who he is now. He already solidified himself. It's over. All this is right now is extra. Now, the only reason why I criticize him now is because it's because of his decision making that's not involving basketball. Winning championships. Is that enough of a rant?
That was a decent one. It's not all the way though.
No, it's not, because it's.
And I'm actually pleased, Joe, because you were under control for today on a day where all of your teams lost.
Well, it's. I don't. As far
By the
as
way,
the show
a
is,
good question.
this is a Lakers show. I don't think we're probably gonna end up talking Dodger and Steelers here before the night is over. But this is a Lakers show. People want to hear about the Lakers, and it's an exhibition game, and I get it. It's the beginning of this, but I've told you that the venom is going to come out around December if I'm seeing what we're seeing.
Okay. I was going to say Ralph had a good question. When was the last extremely successful draft pick by the Lakers?
When you say a successful draft, are you talking about like first and second round and beyond, or just like a good pick in the first round? It's hard to do that. Really, the greatest draft they ever had was in 1996. They got Kobe and they got Derek Fisher, at least in my lifetime. I don't think you're going to get a better draft than that, looking back on their history. Steelers, Mark, I'll comment on this real quick. The Steelers lost 3 of their edge rushers in the last few weeks. I mean, absolutely decimated. They've lost 2 offensive linemen for the year, pretty much. They're in desperate need of another receiver. Absolutely desperate. And I got to say, Justin Fields playing a lot better than I thought he would. And I think the Steelers need to they definitely need to try and make sure that he is support it a little bit. He's been playing his ass off, and I'm very proud of him. Bad news for the Steelers is, unfortunately, Mike Tomlin's still the head coach, and Mike Tomlin has a knack of just making the wrong decisions every time almost. Tonight he absolutely squandered all his timeouts, and I still can't figure out why. The guy that ended up catching the game-winning touchdown, he was the one that got hurt in the end zone, and he wasn't going to come back on that next play, and then the Steelers decided to call a timeout because they wanted to check and see what the formation was. When you let your opponent think too long, when you let the offense – see, the offense – when you give the offense time – see, this is going to go back again to you never coached in the NFL, right? Mike Tomlin's this great coach. You tell me. Your team they have to now get up on the line and start and make a play under pressure. Instead, you call a timeout when one of the guys is injured and they're kind of flustered. You call a timeout and give them time to rest and rethink. He comes back and gets a touchdown. And I'm supposed to be some guy that's supposed to play in the NFL to not do that, right? Not to criticize that. That and the fact that I've watched every Mike Tomlin coached game. I've never missed a Mike Tomlin coached football game. So who would know better based off what I'm watching? Isn't that what coaches do? They watch film, right? They don't just, because they're in the NFL, things just fall in their brain, right? They sit there and they watch the games, right? I'm watching the games too. I just don't get paid to be a coach. Mike Tomlin is and will always be, because he's going to go to the Hall of Fame, which is the most overrated head coach in the NFL that I've ever seen. That's my 5-minute rant for the Steelers. And then as far as the Dodgers,
careful out in the parking lot. Or on the field if you're a left fielder for the Padres.
The Dodgers, the LA area and that area have a major issue. And they've had it there. They can blame Frank McCourt. They can blame the Dodgers. They can blame Mexicans. They can blame whatever they want. That has been a problem for a very, very long time. There are bad people there. There are very, very bad people there. And they've never really ever addressed it because they want to continue the 3 million. They want to continue the 3 million attendance. It's almost 4 million this year. I think they don't want to mess it up and they don't care enough. There's not enough incidents for it to be a problem. Having it happen a couple times a year isn't enough for them. Having somebody become paralyzed wasn't enough for them. They would have to be. They would have to be.
I just want to say, I didn't mean to interrupt. My apologies. Ralph said Tomlin is coming back at you. Tomlin never had a losing season. Just good luck. He's carefully choosing his answer. All right, go ahead.
Do you all just read what you see on TV every day? What does that mean? They never had a losing season. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that have to do with winning Super Bowls or at least competing? How about this for a stat? 3 playoff wins since 2017. What year is it? It's been 8 seasons since 2017. 3 playoff wins. Oh, you want to know who the 3 playoff wins were? AJ McCarron, Bengal game, the game they should have lost, but Mr. Perfect and Mr. Pac-Man Jones decided to give the game to the Steelers. They were going to lose to AJ McCarron, by the way. They blew out Miami, and then they had a field goal fest in KC before they got waxed by the Patriots. That's it. What are the Steelers known for? Are they known for winning 3 playoff games in 8 seasons, or having a 9-8 record, or a 9-7 record, or an 8-8 record from conception to death? Mediocrity, folks. I keep telling you guys celebrate mediocrity. You celebrate garbage. This society, this going on right now, what's going on right now, you celebrate trash. I will never, never accept it. I want to win. Winning is all that matters in sports. That's all that matters. And I'm not talking about winning at all, or at least competing for it and showing that you're competing for it. Otherwise, you're trash. I don't give a shit about what you do. I don't give a shit about your records. I don't give a damn about your stats. It's about winning the championship. You don't win the championship when you're supposed to, you're shit. You're no different than the last place team. That's it. There's nothing you could say that'll ever change my mind. Winning is all that matters. And if you want to call people sore losers, you want to call them what, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care. Winning is what this is about. At what point is it not about that? Oh, well, Joe, they're making $60 million a year. Are they thinking about that when they're at the plate? Sure. Some people are. But at what point when is it enough? What did Charlie Sheen say in the first Wall Street? How many ski boats can you ski behind? It's a great line, by the way. You can't ski behind more than one, right? I mean, I guess you could. You'd have one ski, the other ski, and split it off, right? I mean, that's kind of greedy if you did do that, even. And I don't care about your money stuff, and I don't care about your glam. Most of the people, and you're seeing it happening, guys. All these guys that think they're all, oh yeah, I'm cool, yeah. Come to my party, yeah. Whether it was Howard Hughes, whether it was Hugh Hefner, whether it was this piece of shit that's going on right now. What happened to all those motherfuckers in the end? He ended up finding out this one's dying because his nails are growing out, and I don't know what the hell he was doing in his house. Hugh Hefner abusing people, allegedly. I mean, I wouldn't say, I'm not going to say he abused anybody, but come on, an 80-year-old man with an 18-year-old girl. How did that even work even back when people weren't as sensitive? That's disgusting. Where are these girls' fathers? Hugh Hefner would have lasted 4 seconds if my kid was anywhere near that house. Where are the men taking care of their girls, worrying about all these women and their stuff? Where are the men? Where are their dads and brothers and cousins and uncles taking care of them? Going to your little parties with your baby oils and shit. Most of you all go to those parties. You'd go to those parties in a second. Shit. Don't tell me bullshit, man. I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna call your ass out. I don't care what color you are. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how famous you are. I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. You do stupid shit, I'm gonna call your ass out. You want to call me out? Go ahead. Don't give a fuck. I don't care. Rum is settling in nicely. I mean, seriously, come on. It's not that hard. I don't think it's that hard. I mean, do you really have to be too cool for school when you're not? Just be you. Why go through all that headache? For what? Why, so you can go online and do this? And why do they always take it like this? What's with these shots? What is this? Why do you take a shot like this? My favorite are the mirror shots, where you can see the foam. Folks, protect your girls. We lost that a long time ago. People, they do this. I mean, seriously, take care of your girls. You take care of the girls. You take care of your wife, your girlfriend, your daughters, your nieces. your aunts, your grandmothers. That's your job as a man. None of that stuff gets talked about. All we hear about is these celebrities and their hedonistic fucking trash fucking life. You want all that money and you want all that fame for that? That's what you want it for? That's what you admire? That garbage? You can have it. I don't need any of that shit. Fuck that. As far as winning, terrible day for winning today for me. And the Dodgers, you better come in Tuesday and grow some sack. Otherwise, Dodgers have to make a change, man. Skip Schumacher's available. I highly recommend if the Dodgers blow this one again, you got to get Roberts out of there. You got to get a new voice in that locker room or that dugout or that whatever the hell they're in over there. And this is important too. I mean, that dugout looks like a freaking funeral every year, it seems.
It was a funeral today, that's for sure. Just no class. It just the Dodgers fans sometimes, man. Come on, get some class. Stop throwing baseballs at
those people. Most of those. I mean, I've been to Dodger games for a long time.
I've been in the bleachers, Joe. I told you my story, so I know how they act in the bleachers.
It's not especially good. Those guys are gutter trash.
Taylor Jenkins, Jeremy, you asked me who the first coach to be fired would be. I would probably say if Memphis doesn't get off to a good start, maybe they would look at him.
Kirk, what are you doing?
It's like 12:30
Seriously?
in the morning.
Are you just doing this to talk shit?
Yeah. Yes.
Bring some substance. Don't talk stupid. You want to talk about things that you believe in, that's one thing, but that's stupid. They take selfies. Look, that Joe Cos gives them. That's why. I hate people, but I love good people. And that's always a relative comment, right?
Yeah. I deleted it, the message search.
Kirk, I'm going to say this one more time. Stop talking about that shit. We don't do that here. If you want to talk about that shit, go to the forum at CNBC or ABC or any of those assholes. This is not the place, okay? I had a talk with a guy a few years back, one of my good friends. He thought I was starting to turn a certain way, and I'm like, man, I run my way, baby. I don't represent anyone but me. And if your interpretation is what it is, again, like I told you, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care. And most people who say they don't care are full of shit. But I really don't. I don't care. Go talk to CNN or over those people. Mainstream media. Do we look like mainstream media types?
Jeremy's asking on the game on Thursday against the Bucks. Your thoughts?
Probably not. I think he plays in Phoenix and in Golden State games, and I think he takes the Milwaukee game off.
They'll probably play in Vegas. They usually do.
What revenge? We should be getting revenge on him for killing our team.
They have so much confidence as Darvin Ham is an assistant coach. They brought on Rajon Rondo as a guest coach.
Well, you know how I feel about the assistant coaches. They're about as useful as a boot and an asshole, but people think they matter, I guess. I don't know.
He probably will JSJ and probably get.
What do assistant coaches do, really?
Hopefully, they'll help scheme up a better defense than what we've seen so far in preseason.
I think the only assistant I ever saw that actually had some clout was Tom Thibodeau in Boston. That's it.
Oh, it's so funny. Let me say this. I don't know. And again, I don't know if it was because of the hurricane or whatever, but that game earlier today between Charlotte and New York was so lightly attended, Joe. You could hear it was like in a gym where you could hear the sneakers going
Yeah,
back
that's
and forth.
good. Yeah, like when
And yeah,
COVID happened.
yeah, and you heard in the background, all I could hear in the background was Tom Thibodeau. D up, zone, zone, guys, come on. And you could hear in a preseason game, Joe. He's already. We talked about LeBron and AD already in midseason form. So's Tom Thibodeau.
I honestly would love. I kind of wished back when he was in Chicago that they would have won. It's unfortunate that Derrick Rose didn't last because I think he would bring back a little bit of what it's supposed to be. And I don't know. I think New York has a good team. I hope he can tap into Cat and bring out the tiger instead of the feline. I mean, Cat is soft, is Charmin, but
Yeah.
maybe Tom the second time around can. I mean, New York's going to be tough for Cat, man.
That it will be, my friend, especially if he keeps on playing defense like I saw today.
It was bad. I did get a few clips of that. And that becomes more about just not giving a shit and not handling the details. And we've rewarded these guys for that because we keep making excuses. Even fans make excuses. Oh, well, it's preseason. Oh, well, it's this. Oh, well, he's new.
Thibodeau coached him before.
I'm
so
not saying I'm not. And when I say criticize, we're obviously on a show here, so we have to talk about it. But I'm not saying go raid his house like some of these morons or get in a fight in the parking lot. You want to put your anger somewhere. Put your anger where it belongs instead of fighting people, you morons. Who's not doing their job? You really want to go after somebody. Because sometimes there is well, they couldn't really do anything. It was just the other team was better. You know, that happens. But excuse me, there's a pattern also if you watch enough of somebody's performance where you're like, no, this is a habitual issue. How do you handle that? Well, you either improve it or you gotta go get somebody else. But it just seems like I feel like my teams are so stubborn in doing the same thing over and over again. I don't think I've ever seen it like this before. I don't know where to go with it.
I don't know either, man.
Even the Italians in New York got soft. Believe me, I've been to New York a couple times. It's not what it used to be. They all got soft. Everyone got soft. There's only a few of us left. Shit, I don't know anybody that's like me, actually, honestly. Everyone wilts.
Search, I cannot thank you enough. We'll be with you all year. Oh, those are the best words I've heard all day.
What?
That should bring a smile to our face. Search being here.
Yeah, Search, we don't like it when you're not here.
The more you're here, the better the show is.
Yeah,
because
your name is perfect. You search and you destroy all the problems. So you gotta be here as much as you can.
But I do have some good interviews lined up along with our regular show coming up here. And of course, the game later on this week. But yes, I do have our good friend Stone Hansen coming up later this week. Legend 350 also as well. Hopefully get some more stuff going down. But Joe, yeah.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, Q&A, we can probably answer some questions here. Season's about to start. We're 12 days away?
No, 15.
15.
2 weeks. A little over 2 weeks. Starts the 22nd.
So we are looking at, okay, good. 22.
No, Sliwa never got back to me. He has ignored my email. So
Sliwa?
yeah, I reached out to Alan Sliwa, see if he wanted to jump on the show, but yeah, guess he's busy down in San Diego.
So what does Sliwa do?
He was the ESPN Lakers radio guy. So
Is he the one that brushed you off?
yeah, let me go ahead and you talk for a second. Got a call.
Yes, sir. So it's interesting when you blow somebody off, that comes back to haunt you down the road. So if you're going to be in the business of the media or analyzing sports, treat everybody the same way when you're coming up, or the guys that are a little bit below you. Otherwise, one day we're going to run into Sliwa when we're prominent, and that'll be no bueno on him because we'll remember that. Laker Girl got Michael Thompson on her channel. Oh, really? I didn't know that. When did she have him on the channel? Did she have the show yet? I'll have to check that one out. Excuse me. Jeez, my drink is going away. Yeah, Michael Thompson, man, you talk about Laker greats. Might not be a Hall of Famer, but he's a Laker great, man, and that's a good dude. That's a good dude. That's one of the guys I would like to meet is Michael Thompson. I think we'd have a good time talking to Michael. Yeah, I didn't know it was that. This is the first I've heard it. I didn't know she had anybody on their show. I think Big Boy Sports had. Didn't he go to Spectrum and hang out with James Worthy and the gang over there? I think I saw that a few months back. Getting tight with those guys. I don't know what kind of noise that can make for the shows yet. I haven't seen too much traction on some of the interviews for those things, so I don't know how that kind of would all kind of develop. Gerald and I have gone back and forth on if that's something we want to do more of, but then I thought, well, people tune into the show really to listen to us, right? Talk. I don't know if you guys are going to really change your ways just because we bring a couple of celebrities on for questions. Plus, what are we going to ask them, and what are they going to answer? What is let's say if we got John Ireland on there, how do you think John Ireland would respond to a question like this? You ready, Gerald?
Yes, sir.
John, we've been discussing the roster issues on the Lakers. Why do the Lakers have 4 players on their roster that don't belong in the NBA?
He'll give the politically correct answer.
He'll give the political correct answer, and we'll be sitting here with our hands on our hams. Not Darvin hams, our hams. And I just don't think that's entertaining. And he's not going to say what we want him to say because he's got a job. He'll get fired, right? Right? He'll say something a little bit off kill. Oh, John is now working at the CBC Jewish network in the Valley. There's no point, honest to God, there's no point in ever talking to any of those people in my book. I am not here for anyone other than the people who listen to this show. My loyalty is to Gerald, the people on this show, and the people that listen to the show. I don't give a fuck about anybody else. I love the Lakers. I love the Lakers. I am loyal to the Lakers. When LeBron retires, when AD gets traded or retires, when Austin Reeves gets traded or retires, guess what? I'm still going to be a Laker fan. I'm loyal to the Lakers. And as shitty as an owner as Jeannie is, and as shitty of a GM as Rob Pelinka is, I'm going to stay a Laker fan because Dr. Buss guaranteed it. Jerry West guaranteed it. Magic, Worthy, Kobe, Shaq, they solidified it. That's loyalty. That's loyalty. They gave us, what did they give us? Even in the years they didn't win championships, what did they give us? 0.4. Smoking the Spurs after they won their championship in 07. Smoking the Spurs in 04 after they won their championship. Beating Seattle, even with that Sidell 3, Terry Teagle, Nick Van Exel team. Smoking the Sonics when they were finals favorites in 1995. Beating every George Karl coach team from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, all the way to 2012. I think people when they wonder, because somebody had mentioned, they were like, why does George Karl hate the Lakers? A lot of people don't know this. I go, do you know why he hates the Lakers? George Karl has lost every playoff series since the 80s with 3 different teams to the Lakers. So anytime he talks shit, just let it go. He's burned. He's scarred from it. That's why I'm a Laker fan. If it wasn't for the Lakers, Tim Duncan would have had 9 championships. Imagine if Charlotte, no, forget Charlotte. Imagine if the Nets, imagine if John Calipari, I can't prove this. I can't prove it, and it'll never be proven, really. I guess maybe if I talk to John privately, maybe might be one of those guys that might say it out loud too. But let's just say he keeps it private. I want to talk to John Calipari. I'm going to say, John, I'm not going to bother you about Kentucky. I'm not going to bother you about UMass. I'm not about anyone. I don't want you to tell me the truth. Really tell me the truth. You got talked out of drafting Kobe at 8, didn't you? You wanted him, didn't you? You knew. You know that talent. He knows talent. I'd love to know if it was yes or no. Those are the stories. Those are the things that keep me being a Laker fan. And that's just what it is. And, same thing with the Steelers. I've seen 2 Super Bowl wins. Super Bowl wins are harder to watch than any championship in my book. And I was fortunate enough to see 2. And I absolutely adore that era team. I'm so happy I was alive before this pussy-ass, bitch-ass freaking league that it is now. I am so happy I lived in an era where I watched my Steelers win 2 championships, and watching guys like Troy Polamalu, Hines Ward, Big Ben, Jerome Bettis, James Ferrier, James Harrison. Everyone. All that team was one of the highlights of my life, let alone sports, of my the enjoyment and the pride that I had for that team. I'm just happy I was able to witness it. If I never witness anything like that again, it's okay. I got a chance to see greatness for a very long time, and I saw greatness also rewarded with multiple championships. That's the part, guys. That's the passion. That's where it is. As far as the Dodgers are concerned, yes, I know they won in 2020, but I think they've left a lot on the table due to their stubbornness. And I know they got screwed in 17, and they got screwed in 18. A lot of people don't talk about that. Not enough people talk about that. But beyond all that, there was times where that had nothing to do with anything, and they still should have won. And we're going to see what happens to them this week. But it's been a bad day in terms of that. But again, I'm healthy. I'm happy. I've got good people around me, like you guys, Gerald, watching my back. Thank you again today for covering for me.
Got a great family.
That's Garrett. That's always there. That's the beautiful thing.
The only thing I want to leave you on, Joe, and I know it's going to piss you off one last time, but it is the Bronny thing. But I'm just checking around the internet. That's one of the things I did while I was off the air right now, just a minute ago, and just checking around the internet, and I'm seeing what the other shows are posting, because I do check out the competition as far as what they're doing, what they're talking about, and a lot of it is about the history that was made tonight with Bronny and Braun playing on the court at the same time during the preseason, and much less on the actual end result of what we saw. Yes, the Lakers did play well with LeBron and AD in that first half. The offense was really good, really clicking. Defensive issues aside, that second half should be the talk of what Lakers fans really need to talk about, really need to worry about, is what we need to do as far as filling out that rotation, because right now there's a lot of question marks after player number 5, Joe, in my books.
Yeah, it's bad. It's not good. That's why they're probably gonna have to make a deal quick, but I don't know what deal that would be.
Especially when you're backed up on the salary cap.
Max Christie's not your guy. JHS is not going to be your guy. Jackson Hayes is trying, but he ain't going to be your guy. Everyone else is injured or have major deficiencies. It's just not, the roster is not constructed well. You need 2 more guys. You need 1 solid starter, and you need like a 6th-man stud, tweener starter. Two guys can make a difference if they're the right players and they understand their roles, and likely they're going to have to be young because they're going to have to play 82 games plus deal with the pressure of the playoffs. There's a lot there. It's a lot that they got to do. And
Ralph, I don't think ever said you didn't answer his question from earlier.
Back to earlier, which player was the last successful draft pick? I told you already. Oh, the last successful draft pick. Recent?
Not after they left. Not after they left the Lakers. He said with the Lakers. I think that's what he meant.
The last successful draft pick. What would you constitute as successful? Like an integral part of. Andrew Bynum was the last draft pick that became an all-star and was a very important part of two championships. After that, you had Julius Randle. I guess you could say he's good. But was he good with the Lakers? Most of the guys that got drafted the last decade didn't stay on long enough for them to have Lakers success. I'd say Andrew Bynum was the last one. And then before then, successful in terms of my definition of successful, I think before then it was Derek Fisher and Kobe. So 05, Bynum was drafted 10th overall by the Lakers, became an all-star in 2012. That was a successful draft pick. And then 9 years earlier, you had Kobe and Derek Fisher.
Adam, there's really no great option for the Lakers at backup point guard. Gabe, because he's a veteran, he's got that veteran thing that coaches love. He did look okay tonight, and he does play better defense at JHS. JHS is a train wreck on defense. Let's just be honest. When you see him on defense, it's just terrible. And if you want him to be your point guard and face up against point guards, it's bad. You're going to have to hide him somewhere on the defensive end. And on the offensive end, you could see he is not anywhere near comfortable shooting a 3. So he had, his mid-range, which you guys all were impressed by, and it was impressive because he has to take a step up every time. He knows he stinks right now at three-pointers, so he has to move up into the mid-range in order to get a clean look, which was good. His mid-range was really solid. Pass-wise, as far as running the point, being able to pass, okay passer. Again, it's the defense and the three-point shooting that he's not going to give you. So I think at this point, Gabe, he is a streaky shooter from outside, but at least he gives you hard-nosed defense. And he's not going to make too many mistakes on the offensive end as far as turning the ball over, making rookie mistakes or young player mistakes, Joe. I mean, he's as solid and as unexciting as you get, but I have a feeling right now he's your backup point guard, unless you really are sold on JHS.
There's one-way players on this team, and the one way they play is still really bad. So let's look at the bench. Let's just look at the bench. Forget about the stars right now. Your first 3 off the bench is Jackson Hayes, Max Christie, and JHS. I'm sorry.
I think they put Gabe Vincent.
Right? 8-man rotation. Isn't that what wait.
He said 9.
He said 9. So JHS is probably going to be 9, right?
Yeah.
Okay. JHS just came out of back surgery, and he was already debilitated anyways, playing defense and creating space, shooting threes. He goes to that spot somewhere by the elbow, and he makes them what, 1 out of 3 times? Okay, so that's your play. That's one of the players. Gabe Vincent, probably the best out of the 4, obviously. How that's going to translate in terms of need, I don't know. We have to wait and see how he plays. We didn't see him play enough last year.
Yeah, Bronny could be the point guard on a high school team, Trololo, but certainly not on the Lakers. He is terrible. He's absolutely terrible. This is getting close to it, JSJ.
Huh?
Oh, you said is this the latest show that you guys are?
Yeah, I'm sorry it took so long. The Steeler game took an hour to go because of the weather.
I've done interviews for the Cosmos at 3 or 4 in the morning before because people have been overseas.
I don't like staying up. I like to sleep at least by 12 or 1 at the latest if I have to. But
oh well, before you go, you got a Bronny lover there. Give him a chance.
Who? Trollo Lataco?
Yes, give Bronny a chance.
No, I ain't giving him a chance.
He's terrible, Trololo. You can see that.
No.
You know that in your heart. Your any argument that you give it's just not justified. Can I read you what he did in the box score? I got it in print in my head. 13 minutes, 4 turnovers, 3 fouls, 2 rebounds, 0 of 1, no points.
But it's preseason, Gerald.
That's preseason. You're right.
Oh, he had 3 blocks in the last game.
But how many shots did he miss in that first game?
That was for you, Ralph. That lame-ass stat that you sent me.
How good was he in Summer League? Not.
So Dalton Connect is the other player. Now, he could get hot from 3, maybe.
That's the thing. They got to give him a rhythm.
Get him a rhythm.
Yeah.
Get him a shot. We're good. The last one is Max Christie. Max Christie, from a number standpoint, you might be looking at him and going, man, maybe he didn't have a bad game. He had 12 points, right? He was 3 of 14.
Get real, Trololo. Bronny sucks.
He played 29 minutes. This was the second game where he played almost, well, when you combine the minutes, the last 2 games, he played 32 minutes. He scored, what was it? He scored 13 points in the last game or 11?
Oh, 16 for Dalton, right?
No, I'm talking about Christie.
Oh, Christie was about 15.
Was it? I think it was less. So a lot of shots, a lot of missed shots. He made those last 2 threes. Before then, he was 0 for 6. When you watch him play, do you feel like he's going to improve? I see it in Connect. I don't see it in Max Christie.
I see it. He will improve, but I don't know how much, to what extent. Again, I see him as a rotation player in the league somewhere, and I'm just not sure if it's going to be with the Lakers or if he's just going to be another one of those players the Lakers just don't have enough patience to go ahead and deal with and just, let him go or trade him somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens on Thursday in Milwaukee. I'm going to predict that LeBron doesn't play. Probably AD doesn't play. It's looking like Bronny will probably play and do what he does. Bronny wouldn't have been a college player if it weren't for the University of Spokane. Rough artist. He wasn't good in high school, but they hit it. Jerry, did you get a chance to watch from? THT was a waste. I wouldn't say THT was a waste. THT showed a lot in the bubble as a rookie, man. He was playing well. What was it, the Houston game, the Houston series? He was balling. What happened with THT is people adjusted, which is what happens. He got paid, and then he relaxed. That happens. Happens all the time. Happens all the time. He wasn't a waste. I mean, you got him in the second round. He was pretty productive enough to get a good contract. But he quit. Not in the normal terms of quitting, but he quit trying to be better. He just kind of just started coasting at that point. He got comfortable. I'm sorry, not quitting. He got comfortable. And when you get comfortable, at some point they'll catch up to you, and that's the competition. And then if you don't adjust to that adjustment, you just kind of stay stagnant. I call it the Larry Hughes syndrome. He's one of those guys that didn't give a damn about improving. He was a great talent too. If he cared, he would have been better, but he wasn't. Yes, I started watching it. Well, what are you talking about? Oh yeah, good here.
The series From. It's in its third season now. Yeah, it's a pretty good watch, Jeremy. I've enjoyed my time.
Yeah, everybody's watching. Everyone's watching these shows. The Menendez show. I think I got turned off by it because it looked kind of disgusting that they had the brothers with no shirts on. With this.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch that next because people keep asking me to go ahead and see that.
What are they doing with that? Why do they have two brothers with no shirts on, looking like they're together? It's disgusting.
Jeremy, I mean, somebody was in the chat defending, because that's the thing. You're going to continue to see, no matter how bad he still plays, Jeremy, there's still people that are going to defend him because his name is James on the back. And it doesn't make any logistical sense or common sense, but no matter how bad he plays, like he did tonight, he was terrible. He was not an NBA player tonight in any sense of the word. Any sense of the word. Nobody can see what went on tonight and say that guy's an NBA player. He looked absolutely miserable. He could not even dribble the ball over the half court line and set up an offense. He traveled doing that. Inbounding a ball, Joe, on the Lakers side of the court. He threw the ball away and the guy was 2 feet next to him and he got it intercepted. His own man was just 2 feet away and he got it intercepted. So yeah, it's just at this point, again, basics. Let's just start with the basics for him to get that down at the G League level. Let's send him to South Bay after that hallmark moment. Let's just forget about Bronny, put him in the South Bay, let him develop there, get him out of the limelight, and let's see what happens there.
No. He doesn't belong in the NBA.
Jeremy, we can't do that because people, no matter how much Joe and I don't want to talk about him, he's just going to constantly be in the chat. It's constantly going to chat. It's just going to, and we were not doing ourselves justice if we don't talk about him. He does not
belong in the NBA. He should go home and find another career. He doesn't belong in the G League either. He's going to get destroyed in the G League. He's terrible. No, he's not terrible. He's not an NBA player. This is a farce. An absolute disgusting farce. And I'm not romantic about it either. I don't give two shits about this father-son thing at all. It's at the expense of what this is supposed to be about. These guys have no respect for this at all. It's about as selfish a move as you can be. And everything that people say about LeBron when it comes to his narcissism and his love for himself, you'll never be wrong about that. He's 100% about himself. He's the J-Lo of the NBA. It's the perfect description of him. Phenomenal basketball player, though. So I try to separate the two as best I can and focus on the 48 minutes that he's playing because that's the good part. Oh, by the way, at the 9-minute mark in the second quarter, he pulled his I'm going to leave my teammates to rot because I didn't get a call.
Or Call of Duty, El Troyo. Bronny is the best NBA player at Call of Duty. That's something he's good at, Joe.
I don't give a shit.
All right.
What else you guys got? Is that all you got? Stupid talk. Is that even? If people still play Call of Duty?
Yes, Joe. And next month they'll be doing more of it.
Didn't
with
they
the new one
butcher the
coming out.
last game?
Oh, they butcher it every year.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, are we still doing the night? Is this still considered the nightcap?
It's on the morning cap.
Okay. Well, folks, I want to seriously thank you for your patience. This isn't typical, but it's an interesting night. I don't remember all three of my teams playing at the same time. I've had all three play on the same day, but I've never had all three that I can remember where they played at the same time. And of course, everything got delayed, at least with a few of them, because the Dodger game, you had a moron in the stands throwing shit at Jerkson Profar, watching him whine like a little girl too. And then we saw what happened in the Steeler game with the weather. But again, I want to thank you all for your patience. You know, it's a big crowd still, even this late. Thank you so much. My boys out in Australia, my boys out in the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, everybody, the moderators, even the trolls. Thank you for being here tonight, Gerald. Thanks for having my back.
For everyone who was here for 6 hours
you guys
plus.
have been here for 6 hours.
Yes.
I'm going to say this over and over again. I'm never getting tired of it. You guys, you that watch this show is why I do the show. I don't need to do this show except when you guys are watching. It's very, it could, I was sitting on the couch watching these games and I'm going, every bit of me said, let me just tell Gerald I'm not going to make it, right? There's the devil on the left side doing that. I said, nope, I'm not. People want me on the show. When you're supposed to perform, whether it's a podcast, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, acting, comedy, whatever, you got to show up. The only time I don't show up is when it's absolutely like out of my hands. I have something going on when the show's going on. And that's it. And even then, I don't want to miss. I really don't. I try to stay on the chats. I try to talk remotely. Again, that is because this is what you're supposed to do. That's how you build the audience. That's how we get you guys loyal to the show. And we're not, we talk about corrupt. And I was talking to Jesse, the developer, today, and all the stuff that's going on. I mean, we've been getting massive positive results on this, Gerald. From this has been huge. Like, we got prominent influencers in the industry. We're going to probably end up talking to a few big ones here Tuesday. I'll let you know about that later.
Oh, awesome.
And I don't want to jinx it. I'll let you know on Tuesday. But I'm telling you, man, organic, doing it right, not being a piece of shit. Yeah, it takes longer. Yeah, there's a higher chance you might not get it done. But man, if you get it done on your own, you're set for life. And I want to again thank you all for being patient and coming and watching the show. Tomorrow we will, I guess, start the new week with maybe some more positive news on kind of the preparation on the Lakers season, as well as the upcoming preseason game in Milwaukee. And I guess until then, have a good night, have a good morning, have a good afternoon. Thank you. And until next time, see you next time.